The choir is a very important part of the liturgical celebration, and many times I'd find myself moved to tears at the music and the words. And there was always a sense of being uplifted and peace and strength.
Denny Nolan, one of the choir directors of the 1030 choir, he wrote a mass like for St. Thomas of Becket. He worked from way off Broadway. He was a very, very talented man, as were all the other choir directors.
The choir has been going for 27 years. My daughter and I joined at the same time. My youngest daughter, she was in it for a few years. My oldest daughter, Carrie, she's still in the choir. There's 4 of us or 5 of us in the choir who've been here since the beginning. In the early days, we were quite active in a lot of things in the church. For years, we did the confirmation for St. Charles. My daughter and I, we did First Communion for years. We did a lot of weddings. We even did a lot of funerals. We played at the church, the parish picnic, when the Couples Club then was the sponsor of it.
We were formerly choir directors for the children's choir since 1995.
What we were aiming to do is to build infrastructure for the church because they're the youngest of the youngest. I think that was kind of an exciting thing to see, especially the young ones sort of come through the process and grow musically, and some of them now are more involved in the church and are singing in various capacities without us.
We were a kind of family together, so we involved the parents to come over for all these occasions. Right. We had occasions for Christmas, for Easter, and the end of the year we used to go for picnics.
And I think there's a genuine joy from everybody doing that.
The children's choir are a lot of fun. I have more fun, I think, than the kids. And they're wonderful children to be with. We get together at 8 o'clock Sunday morning and practice till 9, and they eat cookies and drink juice and somehow manage to get through till 10 o'clock when the Mass is over. And they're wonderful children, and I think we're blessed to have wonderful children, both altar servers or in the choir or whatever capacity. We're blessed in this parish with the children that we have here.
When I arrived at Becket, I was asked to take over the responsibility for the pastoral care of baptisms of infants. And so one of the things I wanted to put in place was a bit of music for the ceremonies, because music always adds such a special dimension to a sacred moment. And a group of young people immediately volunteered, and at one point for a baptism we had 4 singers, a piano, and a cellist playing instruments, and it was absolutely magnificent.
When Alpha was taking Christianity in Montreal by storm, we took the course at another parishioner's house. During that course, I got to know Brendan Kelly. Brendan Kelly and I discovered that we shared a passion for music and lyrics. Brendan couldn't write lyrics, I couldn't write music, so we got together, put it together, and long story short, Eternal was born. We started off with 12 members in our group. We started going to different churches preaching the good news of Christian unity. Brendan and I were fortunate enough to release 2 CDs of our original music, and then Brendan decided to leave and go to Australia. When Brendan left, another member of the group, Dieter Furwarn, came forward, and he proposed to me to start writing with him. So we put it in the Lord's hands, we started doing that, and yes, the group did continue on. From that point on, we actually registered with the government and we became a ministry. We owned the name Eternal, and we decided that we would let the Vatican know about that. So we wrote to the Vatican and we sent them a copy of the CD, and the Vatican sent us back a letter, and he encouraged us to continue on with this message of unity, as that is our calling. To date, Eternal has been probably to almost 300 different churches in Quebec and Ontario. I'd also like to mention that Eternal does perform at benefit concerts, whatever the reason may be. But you know, the whole message, the most important message of all in all this is the unity. I do believe that it's very, very important that we maintain our own denomination, that we all have to feel comfortable in our own space. But when we look at the global picture that Christ wants for us, it's not for us to stay on an island. You know, look at your denomination as an island in the sea. Christ is the sea. We are all in the same sea. We all have the same Father. We share so many commonalities with other Christians. And for all these years, all we've been talking about is the differences. I think it's time to just bring the walls down far enough so that we can step over those boundaries and visit with those Christian brothers and sisters and bring them into our lives. Understand what it is that they think is different in Christianity than what we think. Ignorance gets us nowhere, where knowledge gets us everywhere. So replace that ignorance with the knowledge of what's going on out there in all the different Christian churches. That's what Eternal is trying to bring about, a more harmonious feeling and atmosphere in Christianity of all different churches.
In